Hey, my wonderful, wonderful people, a pleasant afternoon to you. All right, so I'm looking at an article written by a Marguerite Curtin, and it captions consider Clarendon's heroic youth for national awards. I don't know if many people remember this particular situation, but I'm going to read it verbatim, and I'm thinking that everybody would remember it. Jamaica and its people, we were elated, we were happy, we were joyous because it was a breath of fresh air, a difference in seeing the school children, the schoolboys especially, doing something very heroic, and not necessarily engaged in activities that would be dubbed as deviant or criminal. And we were very, very much pleased. And it says, the editor, Madame, memories are still fresh in our minds about what took place last Easter at Palmer's Cross, Clarendon, where three heroic teens saved 5-year-old Dominique, or Doman, or Dominique, okay, from drowning in a fish pond. The incident was reported in the Sunday Glean of March 31, 2024. Senior staff reporter Corey Robinson highlighted the undaunted spirit and genuine concern of the three youngsters, Tyrese Wright, 17, Rashane Roberts, 15, and Kenroy McKenzie, 17, who, in spite of an adult onlooker who reportedly sought to discourage them from continuing their effort to save the child, did their very best and succeeded. I hope that child will know about these three men, that if that child becomes somebody great in life, very great, they will give back to those three boys. Because of them, I mean God ultimately, but we're just having, a regular conversation. That child is alive today because of them, and I'm glad that this time they disobeyed the adult. I'm glad. I hope that if that child becomes successful, that the child is told of these three boys who will be big men by that time. And if they become a multi-million game, that child gives them some proper money. Proper. It's a life and death. It was a life or death situation. In every age, it is not uncommon for persons of an older generation to berate the younger generation. And that is why Paul said to Timothy, do not allow anyone to despise thy youth. I can tell you first-hand experience, especially from a lot of so-called religious church people. Oh God, when them go fi berate you and bemoan other things and make you feel like nothing, make you feel like you wonder if you're the scum of the earth. They will make you feel like you did the very same thing that the devil did and have the same kind of a spirit and attitude left up to some of these people. And it says in every age, it is not uncommon for persons of an older generation to berate the younger generation, while asserting that in our day, they were examples of perfection and virtue. I don't know where they got that from. They drove their parents, grandparents, families, other relatives and friends up the wall. They drove them crazy. And some of them, or many of them, are hypocritical. They knew of the decadence they caused. They knew of the mayhem they caused. They knew they wreaked havoc in the lives of their family and friends and other people. And because they became adults and things seemingly turn around for them, they want to act as though they were walking on cloud 20 and as though Jesus and them have the same sort of, the exact way they were born, of a Virgin Mary, blemished, free, and flawless. And that's the kind of thinking many of them have, unfortunately. But we die for them, all hypocrite and parasite. However, we should take heart knowing that these three young men are not unique. They're only three of many caring young Jamaicans, male and female. I'm glad, because oftentimes when we see a lot of things happening, we tend to we tend to broad brush everyone and feel that everyone is the same because you have a particular thinking or you have particular experiences. You assume that everyone is the same. I had to say to somebody that I know recently that you and I, we have not scratched the surface of meeting people. There are so many good women around and even good men. There are almost 8 billion people, and most of us, we probably don't even know 1 million, from the country that we reside. We don't even know 1 million. So we know 0.00, percent, sorry, of people. So for us to say that because of the one or two little experiences that we will have, even if it's 10 people you come across or 20, that is still a drop in the bucket as to who people are when you when you look at the landscape of people across the globe. So we have to be very, very, very careful. There are still good people around, people who are great friends and who will not betray their friends. They will not take their friends' spouses or girlfriends, boyfriends, as the case may be. They respect and they honor that. David was a man like that. I am like that because of God, not because of me, but because of God. And there are other people like me. We are like that. And that is just one example of a good characteristic. Who sincerely wish good for their country and its people and want to be of help. I'm like that. I want to be of help. That is why oftentimes when I make posts about some of our politicians who know that they have gone awry, they have gone rogue, it is not that I'm for this side or for that side. It is I'm for Jamaica, and I want to see Jamaica being a better place. And many people, because their eyes have been, they have not, the eyes of their understanding have not opened, their minds have not opened as it relates to understanding, and that is why they think linear as opposed to quantum. It is hoped that in the coming weeks, the government agency, which is responsible for bestowing national honors, will give due consideration to the events that occurred last Easter at Palmer's Cross, and in which 3 young Jamaican men played their part and are worthy of national recognition. And I agree with them because, for them as youngsters, sometimes I always feel like young blood don't know hurricane. And I think it has to do with just understanding the full gamut of life and life experiences. And when you're 20, you can't think the same way when you're 40. When you're 40, you can't think the same way as when you're 60. It's just automatic. You just see yourself transitioning and changing, be it good or bad. But you're just going to be thinking differently because of the wealth of knowledge that you would have been gaining over the years. Whether you read books or you don't, life will teach you. You understand? But outside of those parameters, the reality is that these young men did more than were more than stalwart. They more than contributed to the growth and to the development. They saved a life. They saved a life. That is, it's almost like they did the ultimate duty of what mankind should have done, should do. God says we are to love him with all of our hearts, with all of our minds, with all of our souls, with all of our strength. Put no other gods above him. And we are to, second part, to love our neighbors, to treat our neighbors the same way we love. Because some people may not necessarily love themselves, but you know how you want to be treated. No matter if you don't love yourself, you still know how you want to be treated. So it is a twofold situation. You want to be treated with honor, dignity, with respect. You want to feel a sense of belonging, sense of worth, and a sense of value. And these 3 young men exemplified everything. That will always be among them, the 3 of them. And I can only hope and pray that that child, when that child grows up older, that child is made aware of it. And if that child becomes a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, share that wealth with those 3 men. They're more than deserving of it. Because outside of God and them, that child would not have been here today to become who he or she is. A female, I can't even remember. Let me look back. Dominique, I guess it's a female, 5-year-old Dominique. Yeah. Big up to them. And I hope they really are considered for the national awards. I'm sure they are. You know, big up to those young fellows. Big up, big up, big up. Blessings on them. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe and give me one of those lions, lions, lions.